You and I are the most underutilized resource in all of nature, and it ought not to be so. The wind blows where it lists, where it wants to, when it wants to. The clouds move from place to place. The lion in the jungle goes and sleeps and eats and roams when it wants to. Even the birds, they choose the heights where they want to fly. And you and I were created in such a way to have dominion over all the other things in this earth. And yet we are the ones, human beings, who are wrapped up with restraints and restrictions and rules and regulations. And we shut up with fear and apprehension. And it's not right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alvin Day. I heard the story about an elephant in the jungles of Africa. And this elephant was massive. It used to move slowly. And everything would move out of its way, other animals and trees and everything. On its way to the sunlight, it would leave a dust cloud behind because it was so powerful. And it went hither and yon, anywhere it wanted to go. Freedom, unrestrained. And then one day, a hunter came and tried to catch this animal, and he couldn't do that. He couldn't capture this animal. But then, he went back to Argentina and he brought a few really skilled hunters who studied this elephant. And day after day, they watched its habit. And after they had figured out how the elephant behaved, they succeeded in putting a net over the elephant. And they took it to Argentina. And day after day, they fed it peanuts, they whipped it. They hurt it, and they gave it pleasure. Every time it did their command, they gave it pleasure. And every time it bucked to be wild and free again, they hurt it. And then they domesticated this animal and sold it to a zoo. Not a zoo, but a circus. They domesticated this animal and sold it to a circus. And from that day on, in the evening, they would put rings on its fingers and bells on its toes. They would crack a whip. They would shout commands. And this elephant would carry little people around. And when they said, sit, it sat. And he entertained these little humans. And when they were done with the circus, they put a rope about this thick around the front leg, one of the front legs of this elephant, and shackled it to the tent pole. And there the elephant stood, waiting for the next command, with a little piece of rope held down by a piece of metal in the ground. What a sad story. What happened to the memory of the days when it used to move animals and trees, and billowing dust would follow it around in the jungle? What happened to the memory of when it was great and powerful and massive and earth-shaking? What happened? It got domesticated. Somebody messed with its thinking. May I be provocative? Ladies, gentlemen, what happened to your dreams of greatness? When you were a child, you used to dream in Technicolor. You were going to grow up and conquer the world and do massive things and leave a heritage behind. You were going to free mama and dada who worked so hard for you. You had no limits, no rules, no regulations, no restrictions. Do you remember? Did you have any of those dreams? And then one day something happened where we were taught certain things, and we were taught to think, and we were domesticated. And sometimes you ever feel like somebody put a net over you and you want to break free. We were not born to respond to bells and whistles. It really is a shame, isn't it? And so I'm here to talk to you about harnessing the power of you. Harnessing the power of you. Because I really believe, and I know that to be a fact, you were born to run things. Now, this is not a statement of human ego. This is a statement of purpose. Everything around you was designed to serve you. The water is supposed to serve you. The air is supposed to serve you. The animals are supposed to serve you. The money is supposed to serve you. And me. And when the servant becomes the ruler of the master, it's not right. And when the servant becomes the ruler of the mistress, it's not right. And across this great country, there are people who are being ruled by money. Please tell me what happens when somebody is dissatisfied every single morning and still gets up at the same hour and goes down the same highway and is crowded and there's carbon monoxide and there is frustration and there is road rage day after day after day. And if you say, if you dislike it so much, why don't you quit? The response is, you must be kidding, I need to pay my bills.
That's right.
Who's ruling whom? Is the money ruling you, Or are you ruling the money? There is a way to live where resources come toward you, and there's another way to live where you make a living if you can. You chase it. You know, one of the things that people are really dissatisfied about is talking too much about money. Most of those people don't have any. You see, there's a way to live where you don't have to chase money, where you don't have to be money focused. There's a way to live where you don't even know when the bills are paid. That's set up on the computer somewhere. Or somebody is handling it for you and giving you a statement at the end of the month. There's a way to live where you don't have to chase money. The love of money is the root of all evil. And if I go to work every day because I'm afraid of losing my services and my support and so forth, what is more love of money than that? It is money that pulls us around so much. And we're talking about a way to burst free of that net and say, okay, yeah, let's allocate. Let's start using the word allocate instead of budget. Hello, anybody? Let's just allocate something there. I want to just allocate a certain amount. What do you need? Let's allocate some money. Because we're here to rule and to reign.